Welcome to Crossways, everybody. Ian Wright here with the great Steph Houghton. Hall of Fame, Steph Houghton, by the way. How you doing, Steph?
I'm good, yeah.
Good, looking well. I like that jumper,
Oh,
Steph.
thanks. Do you like it?
You know what I like? I like grey and white.
Yeah, I thought I'd put the t-shirt in just to break it
and
up
then
a
just
little
pull
bit.
it under like that, so as we can just get a glimpse of it.
Does it look quite cool? I'm trying to get on your level. To be fair,
it feels like there's not a lot of effort going in, but it looks very stylish. I love it. You know, I was going to say to you, Steph, just quickly while you was on the train down, that news broke
horrible
from
train
Tom Garrett.
journey,
Yeah, from Tom. Was it a horrible train?
Oh yeah, it was. But this is interesting though.
The story about Robert de Pauw, Villa.
Let's be honest. We think Villa have massively underperformed this season.
Honestly, when you one win in 9.
Yeah.
You know, I remember his interview, listening to him when he got the job, and he sounded very, very confident, very, concise about what he's going to do and what he wants to do. He wants these players to defend well, obviously, and you want your creative players to be doing, to be doing their stuff and getting past people. And he doesn't want tick-a-tack of football that's going nowhere. And he said that he's not going to be like that. And to be fair, he's not been anything like that. I think it's been a massive disappointment.
I think they're all just words. And I think when a new manager comes in, they have to kind of like stamp their authority in terms of how they want the team to play. And obviously Villa, they signed him on a 3-year deal with an option. So obviously they've seen him in terms of potential and him being at Bayern Leverkusen last year and doing okay with them. But I think for me, it's worrying times for Villa. I don't see anything in their game where they had one good result against Man United. And you're thinking, okay, that might have turned a little bit of a corner in the state that they were in. But I think against Arsenal, that was just not okay.
That was really poor, poor. I think when you look at someone like Kenza Dali, who's not making the team.
She was one of their star players last season.
One of the star players.
Rachel Daly playing.
Rachel dropping down, getting the ball off the defence.
Yeah.
Now, I know he's talking about creativity and things like that, but like with the players he's got, the capabilities, you know what I mean? They should be doing a lot better. It doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me that Villa are in this position. But it does surprise me that he's got 3 years with an option, because why would you give somebody that much, even if they are speaking and saying, "Wow, this guy sounds great." Surely you just say, "We'll give you 2 years and see how it goes, and then we'll go from there." Because up to this point, very, very disappointing. They must be very disappointed.
Yeah, like I just don't know if I look at them and go, okay, they're like a really high pressing team, or they're a team that's not going to concede, because they're kind of like in between. And even watching the games the last few weeks, I think specifically on Sunday against Arsenal, I think it was Arsenal's 3rd goal. Like the back line, the gaps are huge. I just feel as though not really all on the same page, and that has to be down to the manager, unfortunately. Of course, the players have got to be accountable, but at the same time, you have to try and get them out of this run. I mean, 1 win in 9 is...
It's not good enough.
Yeah. For a team like Villa that have done so well in these last few years.
I'm just when you look at a team that's so disconnected, I don't know how much work that they're actually doing on the training.
You would just go, like, I just feel as though, like, you'll be in teams, right, where... You have these tough periods and it's like, okay, go back to basics, like be really hard to beat. And in that team, you have players that can actually go and create and do something a little bit special. But I don't see any of that. I don't even see a setup to allow them players to go and do that, or to kind of be defensively solid, especially at the Emirates or different games that we've watched them this season.
So, Steph, anything else from your side? Because I watched the games this weekend and all the results kind of went how you'd expect them to go. There wasn't anything apart from some poor defending, a lot of poor defending to talk about. So is there anything from your side that you want to talk about, you've seen that I haven't seen?
Right, yeah, I'm so excited just to say this, that Ellie Robuck is back.
Barca.
You know what? I think I'm actually just so buzzing for her.
You know what? I'm pleased for her, because remember when I started doing, when Serena came, England team, Ellie Roebuck was the one who, you know what I mean?
We all thought she was going to be number 1.
She was going to be the one. So it's been a real rough ride for her up to this point. So yeah, it's really good that she's got
I put down on my notes, you know what I'm like with my notes? Like that was 303 days that she's been out of football.
Wow, that's a
for context, for everybody, to come back from a stroke, to kind of have perspective in life change in terms of football's everything, and then you're kind of worrying about your health and buzzing for you, gal.
I'm so pleased for you, Ellie. Long may it continue now.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what else I've got to mention as well, Steph, listening to Jim Ratcliffe double down on his on the Man United women and how unimportant they are to him. In fact, he says it's an opportunity. I think, you know, we've seen what's happened at Man United. You know, he's come in. You know, there's a lot of people behind the scenes that's gone. He's disrupted everything to change everything, and you know what I mean. There's obviously a lot of noses out of joint, but for him to kind of double down on the fact that the women's team is not his priority, when the women are there, it's their livelihoods, it's their future, and the manager, for Marc Skinner, to not even, for me, just manage it right. You know, whether you're going to see Jim Ratcliffe or not next week, or anything, just say, you know something, I've seen the comments. You know what I mean? I'm a little bit uncomfortable with them simply because I know the hard work that goes into what I'm trying to do, what the women's game's trying to do, and how we need as much support as we can get, especially from the owners. But Marc Skinner, he's come out and almost, you know, he's kind of like, he's dancing. You know, he's saying, yeah, I'm really pleased with the way everything's gone with us, the way he's treated us, and that. And you think to yourself, that's not right, bro.
No.
That's not right. You know, when you look at the grand scheme of things in respects of what Man United want to do, who Man United are, what they want to do, he had an obligation to women's football as a man in there who's not just in there dancing for the owner. You know, who's giving him another year to see what's happening.
The women's team is part of that football club. Right? It's not something that sits on the side.
Exactly. It's Manchester
happened
United.
So many times in this game.
Yeah. So for Jim Ratcliffe to say that, to kind of like park it like it doesn't matter when it means so much, and for him to come out and say how much support he's got from them, it just makes me feel like that's a poor decision for me. I'm just thinking,
if I'm a player and like you hear that from the very, very top guy, like you'd be thinking, what are we doing?
Exactly, and then you want a manager who's got
and
some
also
empathy.
Anything that's been said to you previously to join that club.
Yeah.
And like Man United have done great things over these last few years to come from that championship to make their own team and get into WSL, and now are performing well.
Stoney,
yeah, like they've built the club to a certain point. Like all you need is someone to back you, and I don't know. I feel for the girls because I feel as though they're probably thinking, okay, we make a step forward, take 5 steps back, because you're now thinking the commitment's not there.
It was really disappointing.
And you understand why the likes of Mary Earps,
of course, Mary Earps, you know, Katie's gone as well. We saw Katie putting out some stuff the other day, mentioning what it was like. You know, we've seen Alessia Russo leave there. You know, Ona Battier leave there. You know, you're thinking those are the players.
Like if they'd have kept them players, I think of how good the team could have been. Yeah.
Those players with the right support, Man United are challenging. So to hear that was disappointing, and it was disappointing from Marc Skinner. But at the end of the day, you know what I mean? That's what he chose to do. I
wonder if them words have actually been said to the girls, like face to face. Cause...
Yeah, but when you read it.
No, I mean, yeah, of course. We had the same reaction when we read it. We were just like...
Those are the kind of things that in a sentence can just like really knock the cards down. Really sad to hear. So, Steph, anything else from your point of view? Because I feel like I've done a lot of talking today, Steph. Have I talked too much today?
No, you haven't, not at all. My thing is Liverpool Football Club.
Wow. What
I think linking to Man United, but I think for me last year, Liverpool, 4th in the league, you feel as though they're really progressing. They're building a team, they're building a squad, and I think of the games of the weekend, you're thinking, okay, Man United, Liverpool, it's going to be quite tight. It could go either way in terms of these teams and previous performances. But I don't know what I'm seeing from Liverpool. I don't really know whether it's a step backwards. I'm looking at the games that they've drew this season. They got beat at Everton at Goodison Park, which Everton haven't been great this season. And I feel as though you bring in someone like Olivia Smith, who's a big signing, really paid a lot of money. Yeah. But how is that squad developing, or like what is it going to take to be the next step for Liverpool? Because there's potential there, and it's a massive football club, and Beattie's done so well with the team. But that game against Man United was just a weird...
These clubs, I've said it on there before, should be leading the way with what they're doing. They should not be dropping off like this, because you know you're looking at Liverpool. Liverpool getting a team in, you're thinking, wow, yes, here we go. The ladies are going to come now. Because we know what a footballing city, I should say, that Liverpool is, and you're probably going to get a lot of talent. But you know, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. I
just think when you look at the table and you see where Liverpool are placed after 9 games, I would never expect them to.
You expect better.
Yeah, I think so, but there's a long way to go.
We'll watch the space. You know what? We've never had any guests on here before.
We've
had a lot of people asking, and we will at some stage probably get some guests on.
Nice.
But we've had to we've had to go with grassroots. So let's get our first guest on. Steph, when we started this podcast, obviously we're dealing with the elite game, the elite side of it, but we all know that the foundation of football in this country, not just women's, men's football, is grassroots. So we wanted to, at some stage, make sure that we can get somebody on from grassroots, and we finally got somebody. Our first ever guest.
First ever guest.
Just to let people know how important it is, how important grassroots is. And so we got our first guest, and our first guest is Somayeh Caesar. Hey, Somayeh.
Hello.
Say hello to all the people, because I know you've been saying all the people who are looking to get ready to see you on there, all the people you're going to bring.
Stop it. Hello.
How you doing? You cool?
I'm okay. Yeah.
Nice one.
Somayeh, do you want to tell us about Lymore Gardens?
Okay. So,
right from the very beginning.
Yes.
It's been a journey. Okay, so Lymore Garden Girls was established in 2019, and I was working at a local primary school at the time, and my daughter was in year 5. And I wanted to, there wasn't a platform or anywhere like for them to play football.
Right.
Majority of girls were not even interested in football, and didn't play socially, like in school or after school. So I just thought, let me create a platform for them to be able
just like that
to develop. Yeah.
What's your relationship with sport? Are you football, netball?
Yeah. Well, no, I'm completely grassroots. So I played when I was at school myself. You know, my earliest memories were watching.
Wow, you must have been really young. You must have been really young.
Yeah, with my grandma, going to like Leyton Orient. I grew up in East London, so Leyton Orient, West Ham, games with my brothers. So yeah, I played, but past school I never played. So, but I also played netball.
Right.
I love basketball. I was very much into like team sports when I was at school. And then when I finished, went off to college and didn't really play much after that myself. So when I kind of was back into it and was with the youth, I was like, why are we not playing? Like it was a big thing for me.
Was it literally that? You just thought, you know?
Yeah, I really
was there a moment where you said, well, why aren't the girls playing and the boys playing? Or did you think...
well, the boys were always playing, and I did think that. I was like, why is there's no platform, like there was no school competitions for them to play.
There's like no coaching whatsoever.
There was no coaching. They didn't have, they were disinterested at lunchtime. You know, they wasn't engaging at all. There was no netball team in the school that I was working at, no netball team, no football team. And they did like athletics and like inter-school competitions and stuff like that, but no platform for the girls at all. So I was like, I'm going to start it. I started netball first. I just started an after-school club, and I was like, we're going to play some netball.
How many people did you have when you started?
Let's talk about the girls, the football. Yeah. So when the first day, the first ever Saturday, I was like, I'll put it out. I was like, we're going to do some training, and I had 12 girls turn up.
Wow.
Yeah, which was...
Were you like buzzing that there was 12?
I was buzzing.
Yeah,
I was absolutely buzzing. It was like a friend's birthday that day, so I was like on my way to like an event in the afternoon, and it was like, I turned up, and the 2 guys that I'd asked to come and help me, the 2 coaches who I'd worked with at the school, who are still with us now at the club, they got the timing wrong. So it was all a bit, and so I was left on my own. And then I was like, oh my God, what am I doing?
Girls?
With 12 girls. But and my bestie, he was like, trying to like, I was like, what are we going to do? Because I wanted to start it, but I didn't have the kind of knowledge myself.
Did you realise what you were taking on?
No, no idea. No. But I didn't have the knowledge or experience myself. I just was like, I want them to have a platform. I want to create a space for them to play. So we're going to play, and that's it. There's nothing really much other thought to it. I didn't realise like how big it was going to grow.
What was your first session with them then to make them just to come back?
I just kind of did like what I knew. I tried to make it as fun and engaging because I wanted them to come back. And
how old were the girls? Sorry,
they were, I'm going to say probably like 8 to 11.
Right, okay.
So it was like key stage 2. It was kind of aimed at mainly my daughter's friends, because my thought was that they were all going to go off to secondary schools and go in different directions, and I wanted them to have a space where they could come back. She doesn't play. Yeah, no.
Did she at the time?
No, she did. Yeah,
okay.
Not because she wanted to play. I wanted her because I knew how important it was to be a part of a team and to have team sports.
Definitely.
And growing up in it, and then I'd already gone back to it. Like after I had my children, I then returned back to team sports. So I understood how much of a positive effect it had on me. So I kind of wanted them to kind of foster those good habits and to be able to, continue to play in and stuff like that. So when they went, the idea was when they go off to secondary school, they'll have a space where they can all come back to, and they can all still see each other. And if not like sport, then where is it? What's it going to be?
Yeah, because when girls go into secondary school, like they drop out.
There's
a lot, isn't it?
Yeah.
So in respects of them playing, so how have you done? So once you got the girls together, you started coaching, you got your help and everything. So tell us about how it's progressed to them to get to a team. Were you losing loads of games? What was it like to keep the girls together? What were the parents like?
Okay, so like I said, it's been a journey. So we had about 12 to 15, and that kind of grew really organically. It's been a really organic growth, I will say that. It's not been forced. We've not like put out anything to say, come and join our team. We've not tried to scout and take players from any other teams. But before I even got that, it was very much an organic. I was at the school and I was like really trying to encourage the girls to come. I was like, it would be really good, like come and play football. And especially if I see potential like in the school, but it's not like they don't know what they can do. I can see what they can do, and they just need a platform to be able to do it, to challenge themselves, to push themselves, to learn. And these girls that started with us, they weren't ballers. Like it weren't your traditional, your Stephs who probably like loved football.
You've got to start somewhere, don't worry.
They weren't like really into it. It was me saying, come on girls, we're going to play some football. Like, let me introduce you to this and we'll see where it goes. So it kind of grew really organically over the years. We hit COVID, didn't we, in 2020, which was, it was hard because we had the engagement there. We had probably about 40 girls. So during COVID, we had weekly sessions via Zoom.
Oh, wow.
We managed to keep it going. So our coaches, we had I got in touch with like PTs, Zumba teachers, yoga teachers, and we had a platform online, Zoom. So every Saturday morning, we had something different that was going on.
Doing a bit of Zumba.
Just to keep them so they could still see each other, so they were still moving, keeping fit, had a space. So that was so challenging though, because it's so easy to not want to do that, And like I'm really grateful and thankful for the team that I built around us at that time to keep them engaged and keep them going, because it wasn't just me.
Do they still have some involvement now, or?
Yeah. So the coaches that we work with now, so now we run like nutritionist workshops. We do like Pilates, mentoring. We have groups come in from like period poverty. We do like sports bar workshops. We've done loads of different, over the years, we've had loads of different things that we have put on for them, which is really important because it's like the holistic kind of view of the girl. It's about building the whole child, not just a football player that can score goals, you know what I mean? Or like a defender or a goalkeeper. It's looking at them as a whole.
What about the league itself? So you got into the league.
So after COVID, they were like, after COVID, they were like, when we started training, we had to like split the sessions, work in like groups. That was like a massive challenge as well. And the facilities we had at the time were not the best. They're still not the best, to be honest. There's so many challenges in that. But once we got past those and we still had the engagement, we hadn't lost any of our girls from start. And at that time, we probably had about 40 girls that we were working with. So after that, we decided that we were going to go competitive because they'd been training 2019, over COVID, still keeping moving. We worked with Barclays. We did a partnership with Barclays and we took 30 of them to their first ever WSL game.
Was that the Barclays Community Fund?
Yeah, that was the Barclays Community Fund, and we did a massive thing for that. They got us a coach, they gave them kit. They
What
had
game did they go to?
Tottenham versus Arsenal.
Wow.
So it was a derby. So that was amazing at the Tottenham Stadium. And most of them, that was their first ever WSL game. So that was then really inspirational, and they were like, right, like we're going to keep this going. What are we doing next? So we continued training and then we joined our league. And that was...
What was it like?
Well, we lost every single game. Yeah. We probably lost like 13
what was that like when
average goals scored.
How did you keep them?
The resilience. Well, I think that had a lot to do with our training, because we weren't just focusing, like I said, it wasn't just about the football. It was about the transferable skills that they were learning, the resilience, the perseverance, but also just the community that we'd built. Like they were a team, win or lose, mainly lose. They were, and I'm so proud of those girls.
What was it like when you won your first? What was it like when you won your first game? What was the dressing room
we didn't just win our first game.
Do you have champagne and that?
We didn't just go on to win our first game. Of the first league of like losing every game, and kid you not, we lost every single game.
Wow.
We then went on the next season and we won it. We won it. We were invincible.
Wow.
we won
Invincible,
it all.
Eh?
They were the Invincibles, and that momentum that they had, and it just like had a knock-on effect, like a really positive ripple effect down into the club. So now we have from 5, we've got girls from 5 to 16. And like I said, it's been really organic, and they have just built their own community. It's not just about like the work that I do or the work that the coaches do. It's about the mentoring from the top down, from the 16s down. And I couldn't have asked for a better girl. Like I just lucked out with the girls that we had from the get-go, because they've just been excellent mentors, role models. They come to the younger girls training sessions. You know, they do their Duke of Edinburgh. They come and they
probably see what you did to them and decide, actually, that's the way that we could go. That's how I'm seeing the situation.
And I like, you know, like I'm really proud of them for that. And and myself as well, you know, because
definitely,
it's just like it's a community within a community. And when I ask them, like, what do you love about our community? Our younger girls will tell you, I love watching the older girls and how they inspire them, and they're role models for them. But then the older girls, it's gone past them now as well, because I do like various sports, but I've started a netball league of my own, which now is like...
Where do you find the time?
I know. I'm not sure. But there's a lot of hours in a day. But it's just, you've got to have like passion, and you've got to want to do it, you know. And
what are the challenges, Somayeh?
Oh, some of the biggest challenges we've had are facilities. Like those are facilities and funding, I'm going to say, because good facilities cost a lot of money. And to keep it grassroots and accessible to everybody, like there's not a lot of money in that. You can't ask parents to pay. They shouldn't be paying an arm and a leg just to have the perhaps for girls to be able to play football. We had to take a like graveyard shift, I'm going to call it, to get a good facility. We had to take a Friday night, so we train Friday nights 6 till 8, and that's the only time that we could train. There was a pitch available, that there wasn't any boys around, so it was really important to me that it was essential venue, so within the heart of the community, that is really accessible to them, so that they can walk, they can like transport, because getting to and from training shouldn't be an issue. And parents, you know, if it's like time-wise Friday night, being tired after a long week at school,
ready for the weekend,
just, and then them having to commit to then coming to training, you know, and that's like a big thing. So taking the graveyard shift, but then we had it. The facility that we were renting, we had it for a couple of years, and it's a really hefty price that comes along with it. But we were renting half of the pitch, but using the whole pitch because nobody else was using it. And then 2 years into that, we had just one Friday evening a boys goalkeeping club turn up, and the lettings management company said, you know, you've got to move over. So we had like 50 girls that we had to shift over to half a 9-a-side pitch.
How many boys were there?
And we had, they had to, you know, they were working with half a 9-a-side, looking over, and there was like 4 boys doing goalkeeper training. So it was really, they felt quite unjust. So that was an ongoing battle for about...
What did the girls in that moment?
They were frustration. But then, do you know what it did, which was really good for them? They found their voice. They had to fight for. We were campaigning, you know. They wrote letters. We sent emails.
Wow.
And they were like, again, really proud of them, because they were like, this is our space. We've been here. You know, we've created this space for them. They've shown so much commitment and determination, showing up every Friday night. You know, that's the last thing you want to do on a Friday night. Most people just want to.
Well, them girls do though. That's a difference, don't they? Because it's an opportunity. I think like the biggest thing that I'm taking away from the story is that not many people have opportunities, but you've created that for them. So that Friday is their Friday.
That's their Friday. That's their Friday. So then have it being taken away from them and given to, which obviously, like, it wasn't the club's fault. It was the management, you know, and they just didn't have the common courtesy to say, you know, this other club want to come, like, what are we going to do? How are we going to work this out? Like, you know, you guys have been here for 2 years, which they had. So facilities, that was a big battle, 7 months. They're gone now.
Right, okay.
The girls are really happy. We've got our space back.
Still a Friday.
Still a Friday, okay, 6 till 8, still a Friday. We have tried to change it, but there's like nowhere available that we can have just for them, you know, because it's like really important.
And I suppose it's routine now.
It's routine. It's routine. And games they play on Sunday. We introduced a fitness session on a Wednesday, but again, the facility's not floodlit, so we can't, after we've just stopped that from half term, and it will start back again when the clocks change again. But the facility's there, it's grassroots, it's completely like waterlogged. Like right now, this afternoon, we've got to go back and...
I remember them days when you used to have to, my dad used to have to park his car outside on the pitch and put his car lights on so we could have an extra half hour.
Yeah.
Honestly, no joke.
That's what helps.
Somayeh, so you were saying before you've got 5 teams now, which is amazing. Like, how do you actually fund them teams?
When we first started it, I approached the Grange Big Local, which was like a local community. It was the National Lottery. They gave like £1 million to like different communities. So it was a Grange Big. So we were partially funded by them. That started it. So I bought the equipment, all the balls, paid the letting fees and stuff like that. So that's how it was initially funded. And then over time, then parents contribute. But when we then had to go back to the pitch that we use, the facilities that we use for our lettings, the Grange Big Local have contributed. So they've matched the set in order to get the boys out.
Right, okay.
They matched the difference so that we could have the space, which is fantastic. But also we've had funding from Sported and Barclays, the Barclays fund as well. But mainly it's parents that fund it.
How are the parents? What's the parents
yeah,
like?
we've got, there's a balance. I have a fantastic coach, Lady Halima. She's a parent and she's a coach. So she's joined me, and her brother Mo, who has been with me. They've been with me from the start. So he also was a parent coach, but his daughter no longer plays. But I've got one parent that coaches. He's come on board this season and he's taken over our under-14s team. But one parent, volunteer and coach. The parents are really supportive, as in, we always have support on a Sunday at games, but actually volunteering time and energy and effort into like keeping the club up and running, we could have a lot more support in that sense, I would say. But they are really good. They get their girls to games. They're at the fixtures. They encourage them to go to training. You know, if there's issues, they're really good at communicating, things like that. And we have an end of year day that we do every year. So it's a massive celebration. So everybody, it's like a huge community. Lymore, it's become like an annual thing now. That's fundraised. I do like something crazy every year. I do ride London and cycle like 100 miles on a day and raise loads of money for that. So we have like a massive blowout at the end of the year. And the parents are really good with that. You know, they bring they volunteer.
What's your challenge this year?
I need more parents to help. Yeah, because it's a massive job keeping it up and running.
And do you like speak to them enough to be able to kind of say that?
I feel like they're quite privileged. I feel like I've got everything. I look as though I've got everything together all the time. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm quite organised and on it.
So they think that you don't need.
They think I'm all right. I think they think I'm all right.
Well, you know
they're
now.
listening. I'm not all right.
You know now she's not all right.
I'm not all right. No, we could always do with help. Like I do put out a form. We do like a feedback form at the end of the year, and I do ask like who can help and who can contribute. Like what skills do you have that you can help us with? And it's kind of, I do have some that they lead like when we do workshops and stuff like that. I've had parents come in and their expertise in their skills, like nutritionists, parents, yoga, Pilates, things like that. So anything that they can do, like small or large, like that's like really helpful, because that's again the whole holistic view. Like it's not just about the sport; it's about what you're consuming, what you're putting in your body, about stretching, about how you carry yourself. But so we could do with more. But I think that's every grassroots club. Like they're a massive part of it. But like I said, because I think the management has been quite good and I've been quite organised.
They think it's better than it is.
The perception probably is with our club that it's better than it is. And it can always be better. Like we all need to do better. Yeah.
See when the girls become between 12 and 16, you might have some girls that are good enough. Where do they go from there? What's the...
So this is a huge. I think that if they're not academy, so the pathway from grassroots to like professional, and I think you probably have more of a better understanding and experience on it than I do, but it's if they're not academy, like if they can't, they go for trials. I've had a couple of girls that have gone for trials and just really been like disheartened not to.
And then what happens to them? What if they don't get into the trial? Do they still play?
They still play. Yeah, they still play. I go above and beyond to ensure that they don't drop out, because if it's not now, then it will come. Like maybe you're not ready yet. And I've got like a really good supportive team. And our chairman Lee, he does loads of work with ex-players and things like that, like in the community, in his community. Because it's really hard. Like it's like what to have that knock. But like I said, it's just keeping them engaged, creating opportunities for them. Like we've done like multiple things. We've taken them to Wembley. They've had the opportunity to play at Wembley. Our under-16s, but they were like 14s then, but they've played at Wembley. They've been to like Tottenham training grounds. Like if they can see it and it's in arm's reach, like they just have to have that. Like it can happen for them.
You have to have a little bit of a taste for it, don't you?
Yeah, they have to be exposed to things. They have to have the opportunity. But I do believe that there's not enough between 12 and 16.
Right.
There's not enough of a pathway we need to create. There needs to be more opportunities.
Is that a thing that you may be thinking about, like trying to kind of attach yourself to a club maybe?
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah. I know that a lot of clubs do have them feeder clubs that are able to kind of get them young girls in.
Some of them do, but the majority don't. And the support for even just getting that, I remember we went to like a school competition last year, and it was our year 5 girls, so they're like 9, 10.
Yeah.
And it was at local secondary schools. So I took 2 teams there, and it was amazing. The quality of football, like I can see it, because like I said, it's been a learning process for me as well.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't like a professional, like semi-pro, nothing like that. I'm completely grassroots myself. The girls have taught me a lot. Like I've learned as I've gone along with them. But I can see the growth of the game between like 5 years ago when I first started to now, and like the improvement. And like when I go to these inter-school competitions now, like I can see that every girl, like most schools have got girls teams that can all play football. They understand the game so much more. But we were at this competition last year, and there were 2 like scouts there from Tottenham.
Wow.
But they weren't there for the girls. They were there just for the boys. They were not watching the girls' football at all. Like, to the point where I approached them and I said, like, I approached them, they approached me, kind of thing. It was they came over and said, we like your energy on the side, like how like I was coaching the girls through the game, like the enthusiasm, like they could see that. They asked me, like, what do I do, like past school football, because it was evident that it wasn't just for school football. And they kind of spoke a little bit about the progression of the girls, and took my details and stuff like that, as in like we're starting like something for women, we're just starting it now, but they were not interested in watching the girls. They weren't there, and it was very clear that they weren't there to watch any girls football. They were just there for the boys. And that, things like that, that should change.
Do you think something, what I was thinking, Steph, I was thinking to try and bridge that gap, you need to have a tournament, like an inner London tournament of girls teams that just, so they go in there, so you get the girls that are maybe not as great who are playing, but they're just organised. They might be the ones that, like you said, when you started, you're getting beat, then you get the next level, But then what should happen is it should be a kind of tournament where you go eliminate, like FA Cup, and then the 2 finalists play. And then you can, that's where probably you can then get scouts to come and watch those.
Yeah, because it's like one day when all the teams are there.
To get that's the kind of dream for me, to have that tournament for that age group. So as they can have a tournament that they can look forward to in the summer. Yeah. That then, scouts will definitely come to watch.
And also because like you might have like 1 or 2 girls that have got so much potential to actually reach the top, and if they're not getting seen,
they're not getting seen.
I don't know. I do feel as though that's something that we probably have to improve in our game, is to get that scouting network ready in terms of what they do in the men's football, because guaranteed there's going to be men's scouts everywhere.
Yeah. And it's the grassroots clubs like ours that, because we are just like, we were always the underdogs, because we started from scratch. We started with girls that didn't play football. Like I said, there might have been 1 or 2 that was like a little bit keen and played with the boys at lunchtime. But even now, there's one, like our girls have campaigned for like in each and every school that they're at for a girls football only day. So I know that there's schools now that they just have one lunchtime where no boys are playing, don't touch the ball, it's girls football, and that wasn't a thing. That wasn't a thing. And you have the one girl that plays Monday to Thursday with the boys, and then on a Friday you've got like 50 girls that all want to play football because they feel confident that the boys are not going to be there watching them, judging them, not passing to them. But there's like the London Youth Games, not sure if you're aware of the London Youth Games, which is a great competition. But again, it's very much like it's one team that represents one borough in London. So you've got that one team that's kind of got through, but you've lost that girl from the team that came second. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not, it doesn't showcase enough. Like there's nothing that does showcase enough, And then,
Okay, so you've done absolutely amazing so far, but what does the future hold for you in Lymore Gardens?
Well, we're just going to continue doing what we're doing, because what we are doing is great. Like I said, we've built a community, an organic community where it's such a safe space for girls to play. There's like a sense of belonging in their community, and that confidence that comes out. So I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing, and the work at the bottom.
Funding is obviously going to be
a massive issue is funding, because we've only ever we've been rejected on so many pots of funding. So trying to get funding, what I would love and what our dream is, I'd love to just have a facility just for girls and women, So I'd love to be, to create that. That's what we want to do as a club. We just want to have a facility, and there's like no boys allowed, a girls only space. So we'd love to be able to build that with a clubhouse. Trying to get more parents to volunteer just to grow it. But again, I feel like it can't be forced. It needs to be a really.
It needs to be real. Yeah,
it needs to be completely real. You have to have the right people. Yeah. I've been in it long enough now to know that there's not always the right people involved. You need to nurture the girls. It's not just about creating footballers. It's like it's that that whole the whole person approach, I suppose, like that you're building athletes, but they might not go on to be footballers, they could be netballers. As long as they're creating good habits and stuff. So it's continuing to kind of push that narrative and creating social change, because we've done a lot of that, and just continue to kind of inspire the girls.
I was going to say as well, you need one of those people who's passionate and is good at admin.
Good at admin.
You get the admin wrong at that level, and it can literally break. You just tear the house down.
Yeah. And when we're finding that with our league at the moment, because they were fantastic when we first started. Our league were amazing. They won Grassroots League of the Year last year, and unfortunately, the manager, the lady that was running that, she's now left. And
what's her name?
Maya.
Say hello to Maya.
They got Maya, yeah.
Maya. You done great stuff, Maya.
Yeah. She did, yeah.
Bring Maya back.
Come back, Maya.
Come back, please. She ran it so well. Obviously, not just her. She had a team of people, but she was so passionate about getting it right.
That makes it easier for you, though, doesn't it, when you enter a team?
Well, you don't have to worry about it.
You don't have
because
to worry.
somebody's passionate enough to deal with it.
She cared so much just about getting it right and just making sure that it was a completely safe space. And it was. And our league it was brilliant. This year there's been like a few red flags, and like things have been, but if the management's not there, the admin's not done right, and there's not somebody behind it that actually you've got to want to do better. Like, and everybody as a football community, all of us need to do better. Yeah. We all need to do better for the young girls. I think about my 5-year-olds that play, and now I was just saying to Steph earlier that they've got so much culture embedded already. Yeah. That it shouldn't be hard for them. I want to make the pathway, the process as smooth as possible for them. Everything should be accessible. They shouldn't be playing in the mud. It shouldn't be. I mean, it builds
sometimes just to build resilience.
Play in the mud, yeah. But games shouldn't be cancelled. Things should be consistent. That consistency, throughout it. It needs to. The process should just be a lot smoother. So everybody in the community needs to do better for our girls.
You mentioned just quickly you had some.
We've got some questions. I've got some questions. Can I read them?
Okay,
and I'm going to say their names because I'm so excited.
Say their names.
Okay, let me pull them up.
Now I'm nervous.
No, I'm nervous as well.
Be nervous. No. Okay, this one's for Steph. Yeah. Top tips on how to become England's captain.
Oh, wow. I wish someone had told me that when I was growing up.
Yes, please.
Steph's the leader. Hall of Famer. Hall of Fame, Steph.
What do you need? Top tips?
A lot of hard work.
Basic Steph, tell them.
Yeah, humility. I think you've got to stay humble, and you've always got to try and strive for more. And don't be afraid to ask to get better. How are you going to improve? And also, we spoke about being a good person. Yeah. I think it's so important. I think them personable skills and them skills that you do every single day, and being in an evolved team, you have to put the team first.
Yeah.
So
I think
that's what I kind of lived my career by. But that was definitely
well. It got you to England captain. Steph.
Okay.
Did something right.
No. And that one, sorry, that one was from Marla. Hey
Marla.
Hey Marla.
Hey Marla.
And that one, she's our under 11s captain.
See,
good luck, Marla.
The,
the next one was from Marnie, and she would love to know what is the most challenging part of the job. So we'll go to Steph again for that one. What was the most challenging part?
What of being at England?
Yeah.
What was it? Trying to keep everybody happy. I think that was the biggest thing that I learned in them first 6 months of being England captain. I think you try and keep everybody happy, try and be their mate all the time, and sometimes just impossible life. Just and some people you're going to get on with, but you're not going to get on with, but ultimately realizing that you're there to do a job. Yeah. So I think it was just bringing it back to being simple and bringing it back to being a person and a footballer, and ultimately just whenever you get on the pitch, you're trying to win. So that was the biggest thing. Yeah,
you got that drive. She just would like to shout this out that she plays for her county, which is
So she's
and she wanted to say, this is her quote, was that the pathway from grassroots to professional is difficult as it is so reliant on playing in academies. And she was like, please let them know that. Like it was really reliant.
No, we see that.
This is Marnie.
Yeah, we know Marnie, but this is what we're trying to, it's one of those situations that we're trying very hard to try and bridge. It's something that, you know, that's the bridge that we need, especially for players like Marnie, who obviously realizes she wants to go again, and something should be there.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Something should be there. So you're right to ask that question, Marnie.
I've got one more, and this is from Lenny, and she'd like to know what encouraged both of you to wanting to make it as a professional. Like, what was behind you? Like, what was the encouragement?
Marnie, and you go.
I think the encouragement was at the time, you know, especially with my schooling. The only thing I wanted to do was play football.
Yeah.
I was just so driven. It was the thing I'd done at every waking moment of time on my hands was play football. It seemed like that was the main thing for me because like at the time at 7, 8, you know, school was quite difficult for me until I got going and got my teacher. But like once I started playing, I cannot remember ever not wanting to be a player. Like people say, oh, where'd you get the drive for? I just loved it so much. And I just kept going, even when you had the disappointments, because the game was more important than anything else. Of course, you're dreaming of being a footballer, but if I wasn't a footballer, I would still be playing.
Yeah. Okay.
So I just wanted to play. So that's what you go back to, Steph. When you're playing and you do start playing for Arsenal or England, you have to sometimes forget that it's not the money, it's not the fame, it's not all the adulation, but you have to go back. Certain games make you have to go back to why you played football in the first place.
And like you were obsessed when you were younger, weren't you?
Yeah, you was obsessed and you'd have done anything at that stage, just playing and being happy to play. And when you get to this level where you're earning money and everybody's looking at you, you have to go back to that child because that's what drives you. And that's what drove me when I was playing. And so I'm just so pleased that I had enough of it that got me to where I got to in the end with football.
You didn't do too bad.
It went okay.
Yeah,
it went
okay.
Pretty good.
Mine would be probably similar, I think, in terms of just enjoyment and I think opportunities for me when I was younger, there wasn't as many. It's probably similar to the path that you've took the girls on. And I think for me, I was obsessed with football, like watching it, playing it. And I think because I'm competitive and I'm competitive for myself, I was just like, I'm making it. I know for a fact I'm making it somehow. So
you know what I love about Steph's story to mine is that I had opportunities to go and do that. Steph would have probably been dreaming about something that didn't exist for her.
Yeah. But now the girls have got opportunities and they need more though. That's the biggest thing.
We have to create the opportunities for them, like you're doing, Somayeh.
Yeah,
Somayeh
doing amazing.
Somayeh Caesar.
Very inspirational.
Yes,
amazing. Well done.
Thank you.
That was really
Thanks
good.
for having me as well.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. That's all from us. We will see you next week.
Nice one, Steph Houghton, Hall of Famer.
Well done, Ian Wright.
We'll speak about that next week.
No, we won't.
No, we have to.
No.
Steph,
we won't.
Yeah.
See you next week.
See you
Bye-bye.
next week.